this city, right? So great idea, right? You want to shut down the city where a lot of people work, a lot of people have jobs, and essentially that's what we saw last night. They shut down this city. That is an area. Charlotte is a beautiful city. There's shops and restaurants all through that area, and those people aren't going to be able to go to work today. So who benefits from any of this? How does it get anyone anywhere, Richard?
Here's the thing, Martha. What we've seen when boycotting cities, we saw the Birmingham bus boycott, which is an example of boycotting a city to create real systemic change in this country. Here's the problem. Here's the problem that Kevin has. Clearly, he lives in an alternate reality from the rest of African Americans who understand. Listen, when I was growing up, I was born in 1987, and I remember walking to school. I lived in a suburban neighborhood, and I remember my brother, when he got his first car, my mom bought for him, being stopped by the police multiple times. One officer even said to my brother, "Cars have been stolen in the neighborhood." And so we're checking to see if your cars have been stolen. We were the only black family living in that community. And now Kevin is going to delegitimize my first-person narrative of the problem that exists between African Americans and the police. No matter where they live. You could live in suburban. It happened to my brother, Kevin. How disrespectful are you going to be? You are the problem in this country. When Hillary Clinton says
you are the problem, Richard,
when Hillary Clinton says there's a basket of deplorables, you are a deplorable. You are the definition of deplorable to the African American community.
Richard.
Why? Because he speaks the truth.
You are.
He don't feed into that fucking shit like you Hillary motherfuckers.
Richard, hold on. Calm down. You are entitled to your experience and your say in the matter and your opinion. And so is Kevin. And there's no reason to insult him with those kinds of name calling.
Don't worry about Richard insulting me. Let me just respond. Richard doesn't understand that my father was in San Quentin prison. My mother died when I was 5, and I grew up in the hood. And his 1987 realization of nothing doesn't compare to my 1960s upbringing. So there you go, Richard. If you want to talk about who's growing up in a situation, I'm much older than you. I've seen a lot more than you.
That's right.
And you have not experienced a fraction of anything that you're talking about. All you want to do is overtalk me, but you're not going to get away with it this time. First of all, you haven't experienced any part of what you're talking
Kevin,
about.
you made your point. You feel that Richard has not experienced what you experienced.
Richard hasn't been pulled over by police or
I have. I just said that.
Really? How did you survive, Richard? How did you survive it?
My brother was pulled over by the police. I haven't pulled over by the police.
Did he survive it? Is he alive?
But Kevin, let me finish. But Kevin, your story, your father's story, is part of the problem. We have a prison industrial complex where we saw in the late 70s, under Richard Nixon in the failed war on drugs, we put more black brothers, more black sons,
Richard Nixon ain't Trump.
Brothers in jail than any other group of individuals for nothing. For nothing.
Okay,
you know what? Richard, Kevin.
You know what, Richard? Here's what.
Richard's tapping into the Hillary Foundation. That's why he's up there talking that bullshit.
This city has a 40%. They have a 40% higher crime rate than other cities in the country. 62 people died last year, so more than in a reasonable time. 2/3 of those people that died were black, of a 35% black population. And Richard wants to blame the police. These people are being killed by our own people, and Richard ignores it because what's happened with the police? What's happened with the police leading up to this point?
So here's a question. So I have a question.
Yeah, the news don't talk about that. They don't.
Why is it, Richard? In this case, you have a black police officer and a black man in this case, and we don't know all the details. We know what the police chief told us. We know what the family says. The family's going to see the video today for themselves, and I think it's interesting that they are, bringing in the family. They want them to see exactly what happened, and they want them to see it today. And my guess is that they're hoping that is going to go towards calming things down. But we need to stop jumping to conclusions and pointing fingers and assuming that people are guilty. And also, we need to understand that there is responsibility that lies within all of us, and that we need to figure out a way to get past this problem. But Richard, you can't not acknowledge what Kevin is saying in terms of the victimization that is sometimes felt by some people in your community that maybe is not the whole picture.
You're right, Martha. It's not the whole picture. And I think what I said last night, and I'll reiterate that point, is that we have to wait. right? We have to wait for justice to take its course. We have to wait for the investigation to happen.
Just like everybody else.
When this young gentleman was shot, where was that waiting when Laquan McDonald was shot 16 times by the police? Did the police wait? Did the police investigate? No, they just shot him. Where were the police when they shot Sean Bell 42 times? There was no investigation. There was no waiting.
So how,
there
but
was
I
no
guess one of
jury
the
of his
questions,
peers, and
but one of the questions is why, and I understand your passion for this, I do, Richard, but why are you not coming on this show and shouting, but why are you not shouting about the people who have been killed in Chicago, about the intrinsic problems in the inner cities in this country that can be solved by people taking, in some cases, responsibility. So I mean, you know, and do you?
Yeah, poor black victims in Chicago die every day. Black Lives Matters ain't protesting their lives. They're innocent. Their mothers, children's walking down the side of the road.
But what I will say, and I said it last night, is there are patterns and practices of bias in police departments, whether the police officers are white, black, Hispanic, purple, blue, or yellow. Additionally, on this air, multiple times, I have talked about the problems in Chicago and the proliferation of illegal guns in the city of Chicago. The police chief in Chicago,
yeah, it's not about guns.
The police chief in Chicago, as well as the incoming attorney general in the city of Chicago, has said over and over again, we need to start prosecuting straw purchases.
Democrats use that excuse want to take y'all's gun rights away and y'all's guns away, keep y'all from protecting yourselves, so they have more control.
Well, yeah.
Martha,
Kevin, go ahead. You finish. You have some time.
Richard conveniently forgets that the president of the United States is black. The attorney general is black.
Here we go.
The Democrat that runs that city is there. The police chief is black. He wants to forget that. The other thing that Richard wants to forget.
Richard, be quiet. Let Kevin finish.
You know what? It has nothing to do with color for me, because you know what? There are white people who've been killed. There are Asian people who were killed. Richard can't name one of them because he's an ethnocentric racist who only focuses on black issues, and he doesn't care about the real statistics of it.
That's right.
And toe the party line in the narrative of the left.
All right. So you called each other names.
Deplorable.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to do better than that. But I appreciate both of you bringing your thoughts to the table, because it was heartbreaking what we saw last night, and I don't want to see it in any more cities across America. It's awful. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. We'll talk to you guys.